So here we are. We're in Aiken, South Carolina, at a Trump rally. Right after the rally, and some of the viewers were asking if there was a Marine in the house. So you are a Marine.
I'm a Marine reservist, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and but you're not a Trump supporter.
I'm not going to be voting for Trump in this election, given right now. But I'll say that the problem with it is on this side as well, and that there's no room for moderate discourse. And that's what this country needs, is someone to unite. I will agree with you totally on that viewpoint, okay? This country needs someone that will unite both sides of the equation, okay? It needs to unite people regardless of race and religion and creed, nationality, all right? We do need to be that country. But when we have this side screaming and this side screaming the exact opposite, we have the Trump chant, and then we have the opposite.
Did you know that several protesters were silent inside, did not scream at all?
Yes, ma'am. What I'm saying is that there's a happy medium between the two sides out here.
Did you know that this is a public facility?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the national discourse. And I'm talking the national discourse is that we have both sides screaming at each other, and no one really wants to think of a solution that works for America and brings all the parties behind.
About not having anyone scream. That's a good point. People should open up the dialogue.
But I think it's a good dialogue, and I think it's good to look for a candidate that can represent all of us, okay, and not just stand on one party's camp and say this is the only way, it's my way or the highway. Because I mean, as much as people don't like politicians, and I know that's probably what drives a lot of these people to be angry about Washington D.C. and about politics. But there is room for middle America, Joe Schmo on the street who works a normal job, okay, middle America, to have a political discourse and say this is our future as people, and it's not necessarily the stalwart Republican stance. It's not necessarily the stalwart liberal stance. I think it's somewhere in between, and I think we can all agree on that. But the problem is we now have everyone screaming fascism on this side and attributing so much of racism to a party or to an individual instead of actually thinking about where does this person stand.
He did call Mexican immigrants rapists and murderers.
Certainly.
And he did say that he wants no Muslims to come in, and he also wants mosques to be closed and to account for every single Muslim American in the U.S.
And that
does it is, it absolutely is fascist.
And that is absolutely that's not constitutional. It's not, and that's totally an encroachment on the freedom of religion. They're saying the truth on some points, and I would say that it's unfair for us to say that Muslims need to be treated any differently from any other American. Okay, I've served with Muslims. I've served with people of all sorts of races. I've served with lots of Mexican immigrants. I've had Marines that I've had naturalized while they've been in the Marine Corps. Okay, and I can tell you that the average guy out there doesn't see it that way. Doesn't see it as an us against them. All right, and it's not necessarily this party fight that everyone's making it out.
Why do you think? I know they're young people and they are yelling and various comments, but it's because they heard Trump call Mexicans rapists and murderers, and they hear Trump asking for mosques to be closed and for no refugees, suffering Syrian refugees. Like the U.S. has a huge history of letting in immigrants and refugees. That is what has made the U.S. So I understand why you're upset, why they're yelling, their mode, but they're not yelling any falsehoods of what they've heard from Trump.
Well, I think what we have to kind of focus on is what do we want America to be, right?
Somebody just called me Roseanne Barr. I just had to laugh. I'm sorry.
Oh no, but that's what do we want America to be? Okay, do we want it to be do we want to be seen as some sort of xenophobic nation? I don't think so. Okay, I say absolutely no. We don't want to be seen that way. I understand, like on this side, the frustration of securing our borders. Okay, I can understand having seen the worst in the world. All right, I can say that absolutely we don't want to have some of the problems that we have abroad here. All right, but there are also smarter ways to do it. Making grandiose extremist statements like, well, we're going to make all of them register, or we're not going to let anyone come into this country, is probably not in our best interest as, with regards to foreign policy. All right? I deal a lot with information operations. I can tell you that ISIS, their key strength, ISIL, violent radicals, their key recruiting tool right now is probably, I'm not sure if Trump is the greatest recruiting tool for ISIL, and saying, well, it's going to be an us versus them, because that's exactly what they want. Okay, so I can look at it from a foreign policy standpoint and say that's wrong. I can look at it from a constitutional standpoint and say it's wrong to say registration or to single out this one group for special treatment. Absolutely. But some of the other things, like this discourse, we're streaming that, you know, we're gonna declare like jihad on Planned Parenthood and all that stuff is getting us nowhere. You know, we kind of need to focus on the issue. Is there a problem with streaming, or is there a problem with racism? Absolutely. Is there a problem with singling out in a particular group? Yes, but I guess the blanket statements back and forth leave no room for any sort of moderate conversation.
So who are you leaning towards?
Honestly, I feel disenfranchised. I would definitely say that the liberal left does not represent me at all. I wish that we could have candidates that actually cared about not pandering to a baseline or pandering to ignorance, and I will say that. I'm looking for someone that has some secure views. If I had to pick one, I'd say it's between Marco Rubio and Ron Paul. So if that's a straight answer you're going to get from me on that one.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks.